Glama here for N24, reporting live in front of Parkdale Library right at Queen and Brock, where people behind us have gathered to combat the recent increase of violence against women. So we're going to be talking to all the attendees and finding out why this issue matters and what the women in the city of Toronto are currently facing.
Get what I want any old time. So love me, hold me, love me, hold me. I'm free.
On the streets,
to get what I
we deserve protection. We deserve safety. We deserve respect. It is our human right to be able to walk alone under any circumstances without the threat of harassment, assault, or abduction. It is our human right to feel at home in our community. Masculinity has failed us. The police have failed us. The system has failed us.
The truth is, we can't always be so strong. And I know a lot of you have to muster up an intense amount of courage and energy every single day. Plaster a smile on your face when you have trauma in your heart, just to get through the day. Because you were not given the protections that you deserve. You were not given the protection that you deserve.
hold me, I'm free. And you're get what I want. Thank you.
All women face the reality that when calling the police to report harassment or assault, we might be faced with being brushed off, being ignored, or being further harassed. If you live at the intersections of being a Black woman, you fear being murdered. Trans women fear being detained and misgendered, ridiculed by the system, sworn to protect them, even when they are innocent. On and off social media, men have shown us that they are unwilling to have the necessary conversations with each other or take real action to put a world where trafficking, sexual assault, and harassment can thrive to an end.
Yes, I'm here with one of the organizers for Take Back the Night. What was your name?
Maddie.
Awesome. So tell our viewers, what's the purpose of Take Back the Night?
So Take Back the Night is actually its own thing. It's the Toronto Take Back the Night March is organized annually by the Toronto Rape Crisis Centre and a coalition of other groups that organize against gender-based violence. But this specific Take Back the Night March was organized in response to a surge of sexual assaults, attempted abductions, and street harassment in Toronto's West End. We decided to use the name Take Back the Night because it's familiar and it's in a very similar spirit. And we actually had someone from the Toronto Rape Crisis Centre come out and speak tonight. And we just wanted to do something a little bit more urgent and respond specifically to what's been happening in the West End.
What I like about what I've seen so far is there's a lot of mention about it's not just about the anger, but actually having actions behind that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that anger can be a really constructive emotion when you're channeling it towards something, towards an end goal. And I think right now, this summer in particular, is it's a really interesting time where just all of the demonstrations that have happened this summer against anti-Black racism and police violence. There's a lot of conversations happening around alternatives to policing and how people can keep themselves and each other safe. What should be in the scope of policing, if it should exist at all, and how can we come up with more adequate services and ways to respond to threats of harm. And yeah, I think that's something that we're kind of building off of.
As everyone is kind of assembling now, and we're about to get the march started. My final question has to do with, how do you think the laws about, what women can carry to protect themselves actually affect them? Is it a positive thing? Is it a negative thing? And how can women actually protect themselves is the real question.
It's a complicated question. I'm not totally familiar with the legislation or what people are allowed to carry and what people are not allowed to carry. I know myself often on different points in my adult life I've carried pepper spray around with me. I don't know if that's legal or not.
Apparently they say it's not legal, but I mean, we need protecting, do we not?
Yeah, and I mean I think that the protection question too is also really limited. I mean, it's an important one, and we need to figure that out. We need as a short-term urgent issue, but I think we also need to be talking about what the roots of gender-based violence are, the high correlation between poverty, social exclusion, colonialism, and racism, and the likelihood that someone's going to experience sexual violence. So it is, I do want to draw attention to sort of the other organizing that needs to happen to also, reduce people's risk of experiencing sexualized violence.
And it's that intersectionality, and I think it's an awesome initiative. We're going to be in the march, and we'll probably see you a little bit later. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
I can say with complete confidence, without having spoken to most of you, that every woman here has faced abuse or harassment at the hands of a man. Enough is enough. Tonight, we make our presence known. Tonight, we look oppression in the face and say, we are not afraid of you.
You ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Shooter, come to lock my door.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the violence, stop the hate.
9, 10, 11, and 12.
Not scared to protect yourself.
I'm here with a participant in the Take Back the Night. What's your name?
Kavita?
Kavita, pleasure to meet you. We're with N24, and we just want to know what brought you out tonight. You could have been home watching Netflix or whatever. Why is this important to you?
So I have so many friends that live in this neighborhood. A lot of us are women of color, gender non-conforming people, and these attacks that have been happening so frequently in the neighborhood is really terrifying, and it makes a lot of us want to stay home and not engage. But the reality is, this is our city, these are our streets, and we deserve to walk here safely without fear of violence. So Take Back the Night is the perfect thing to organize the community around.
Exactly. You should be able to do what you want, go where you want without that fear. So what do you think is the reason for this increased violence? Because, I know that when a lot of people hear about these random, unprovoked punches and other things that are happening in this area, the main thing that we're thinking is, it's a pandemic. Like, why do people have time for that? What have you been thinking as to why this is happening to women at this time right now?
In the summer, we always see like an escalation of harassment, I find, just because we wear shorts or shirts that are short sleeves, and so people feel that they could comment on our bodies. But in regards to this neighborhood at this moment, I think that, masks add a certain level of anonymity, and men probably feel more comfortable, like they can get away with things, just knowing that people are afraid. Like, it's not, everyone's kind of on edge a little bit and avoiding people. So we don't always have the same security of our networks. There's not as many people out on the street for us to talk to and things like that. So I assume that's part of it.
Definitely. So if I were to be reductionist, maybe, social distancing is making us less safe. We need to get back together. But anyways, that's my own opinion. We're here. The march to take back the night is currently underway. The masses have turned out, and the mood is positively unapologetic. Violence against women is wrong, and everyone here asserts that in unison. I'm actually trying to find a male-identified person to speak. We do have a few scattered throughout, but they've not been they're not willing to. Sir, would you like to give your opinion on? No, we will find a man at some point today to give the feedback as to why they're here and, how they're representing their gender. So we're here taking up the rear of this march to take back the night. I know that the men and male-identified people have been told to hold up the rear. How do you feel about that?
Great. I have absolutely no issue. I'm here to support, and wherever I'm needed, that's where I'll be.
Awesome. What's your name, by the way?
It's Rotem.
Rotem. So Rotem, how do you feel about this whole increased violence against women right now? What do you think the reason is?
It's absolutely terrifying, and I was just thinking about how I think it probably doesn't get enough media exposure either, so I'm very thankful that you're here to really show the face of this march. I can't speak to what may be causing it. I wouldn't know.
What can men do in order to help combat this plague on society?
That's a huge question, and I don't know really. Like, I can tell you what I try and do is whenever I see anything that I feel is wrong, I try and call people out. So if I see someone getting catcalled, I'm gonna be like, that's not a very respectful way to behave to people, or just small things. I know we need more, but I don't know what else to do.
You know what? We've got one man here with the right idea, and I think you're doing what needs to be done. Thank you, Rotem.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Currently in the thick of the march, I found a new friend. What's your name?
I am Erin.
Erin. Awesome, Erin. So tell us, why have you come out? What does this march mean to you, Take Back the Night?
To me, it's really about being able to feel safe existing as a woman in a city, in the world. It's more than just these streets, it's every street. It's sharing stories about harassment, about lack of safety, about hatred and violence that, too many of us have the same stories. Too many.
Exactly. No coincidence here, right? So how are you and your friends staying safe? Do you carry anything? Do you do any specific things to stay safe?
I'm one of the people that walks with keys between my knuckles in rougher parts of town. Avoid being alone at night. I know which streets are better lit, and I know what bars in the area are safe for me to duck into if I need to. It's a big community effort, for sure.
In terms of this whole thing of not being alone at night, I don't know. For me, I'm feeling like, but what if I want to be alone? What do you say to the people that are like, hey, I should have the right to walk alone?
I completely agree with that. I would love to, and I do oftentimes. But with the rise in attacks that are happening right now, it's I shouldn't have to be uncomfortable, and I shouldn't have to be afraid, and no one should. This is where we live. If you need to go somewhere, you should be able to just go somewhere.
Exactly, and I think everyone here agrees with you. Thank you so much for your opinion, and you know what? Take back the night.
Take back the night, our streets.
Thank you so much.